Welcome to Sibling Rivalry, presented by AML Media. Today's question is,
who is better at making people disappear, magicians or the mob?
the format will go as follows. Each person will state their case. Then each person will present their counter arguments and closing statements. Then the score will be tallied to determine a winner. The arguments will be judged based on delivery, supporting evidence, persuasiveness, and rebuttal. Let's get started. First up, we have Jean. Jean, what side will you be arguing today?
I'm definitely going to go the mob makes people disappear better than magicians.
Okay.
Get it on.
I will start your timer now.
Now I need to preface this that I need to really come back strong this episode. For all of those past viewers, I shit the bed last time. So let's go, Gene. Get it on. Game time. This is something I can wrap my brain around, and it's pretty simple. It comes down to this: the mob, organized crime, has happened for quite some time, even pre-existing mob. But we'll stick even with just the Soprano type-esque things. They know how to get rid of a body. Here's the thing. My biggest argument is magicians, those bodies eventually show back up. So is that actually making them disappear? No. Is it more flamboyant, maybe more fun to watch? Of course, it's a show, but it's fake. The mob, it's not fake. They will make, and sometimes that could even be, they make someone disappear via them making them go in the witness protection program. That is FBI level type of stuff. That's Federal Bureau helping to make someone get disappeared. Where we come from, do the bodies sometimes show up? Of course. But is that person gone and never coming back? Yes, because they will be, put in the ground and whatever. But making them disappear, it's where a lot of organized crime happens. There's the Pine Barrens. There's all sorts of waterways with cement boots that the tides eventually peel these things away and turn them into nothing but dust in the water. Even organized crime down in the South, you can throw a body into those swamps, and between just the climate and also the animals, those bodies will never appear as nothing but alligator poop. So I think I'll keep it simple there, so I don't put my foot in my mouth. I think it shows a positivity I can prove my point in only half the time I need. The mob definitely makes people disappear a lot better, more effective than a magician. Not all magicians even make people disappear. I'll end there, and I will turn it over to my my competition, my opponent.
Okay, I'll start your timer now.
All right. So here's the deal. Most of what you were talking about in regards to the mob making people disappear is not making them disappear. It's just killing them and burying them or chopping them up, putting them in a swamp. That's not disappearing. That's just killing them and taking them away from their families. Okay? People spend millions of dollars a year on magic shows and watching master illusionists make people disappear. Now, you could say it's an illusion, but anybody watching the show doesn't know how it happened. So, to me, that's making a person disappear. You were talking about the CIA, FBI. That's not the mob. So that whole part of your argument gets thrown out the window. Okay, I'd object to that if this was a court of law. Okay, because that's not the mob. Usually the people the mob takes out aren't disappeared. they're just killed and everybody knows it. But because of the shadowy realm that the mob operates in, it's hard to prove. But they're not disappearing people. A lot of times they don't disappear them so that it makes a statement. Personally, you're right. Not all magicians make people disappear, but the ones that do shock everybody. It's amazing what they do. You know what I mean? Like, it blows my balls off what some of these people can do. So, I mean, I'm not going to get at the part of the argument that says nobody can make people disappear, really. They could kill them and hide them, but nobody's disappearing anybody, except for maybe the aliens. But, you know, people have been doing illusions, and magicians has been a craft for a very long time. They're really good at what they do. I've been on stage and watched a magician in Vegas make a lady disappear, and I know she didn't really disappear, but I can't explain how it happened. So it boggles the mind. Whereas everybody knows what the mob does. They just murder people. They might bury them. They might put them in cement shoes like you talked about. Unless they eat them, they're not really making them disappear. You know what I mean? And again, they use that tactic. A lot of times they want them to be found to make a statement. So I'll just finish by saying magicians actually do an illusion that makes a person disappear, whereas the mob never claimed to make people disappear. That's an impossibility. So I just like to go by definitions of words, and magicians make people disappear. The mob doesn't, never claimed to, and it's an impossibility. So I'll just finish with that. The closest anybody can come to making somebody disappear is a master illusionist or a magician creating that spectacle on stage that convinces everybody in the crowd that guy just made her disappear. So I'm going to finish there.
Okay, it's time for counter arguments. Gene, I'll start your timer now.
You just did a lot of the work for me. You wanted to start talking about definitions. I don't have a dictionary in front of me, but the definition of someone disappearing is probably roundabout that person not being around and not knowing where they are is probably close to the definition of someone disappearing. Okay, so I would also argue, maybe it blew your balls off, I loved magic growing up. I often know where these people are and how they've been disappeared on stage. So I'm not that surprised when that person disappears. I often know that they fall through a fake trap door and they're below the stage, or there's a mirror effect happening on there. So that's not disappearing to me, because watching them, is it impressive? Yes, it's like watching an athlete do something, but I know how to do it. So it's not disappearing to me when that person blows your balls off. To me, I go, they performed that well, but I know where that person is. So not disappearing. Also, you're saying the mob never claimed to make people disappear? When was the last time you watched Goodfellas or watched any of those? Their threat to the person to go, I'll make you disappear to your family. That happens in every one of those movies and almost every episode of these shows and stuff. And okay, do we maybe know that they dispose of the bodies in these 5 different places? Well, if they're never seen again, guess what? Disappeared. All right, 1 second they were there, the next second they weren't, and no one in his loved ones or people ever seen that body again. And then also, I guess I'll kind of end with saying that the FBI isn't afflicted or involved with the mob. I would beg to differ. A lot of people turn into informants. If so facto, the mob is affected and will work with the FBI to make someone disappear. Their name changes. I have 10 seconds left, but I think I didn't shit the bed on this one. Let's go.
Okay.
How much time do I have a counter?
2.5 minutes.
Okay.
I will reset the timer now.
First and foremost, it's erroneous that the FBI and the mob can be concluded together. The spirit of the question mentions nothing about the FBI or CIA or any other intelligence apparatus. Where do I want to go with this? You seem to equate committing murder and hiding a body with disappearing, and I just don't. That's not making a person disappear. That's just killing them and hiding a body. You know what I mean? You're also way over-exaggerating your magical abilities to know how these people do these illusions on a stage in Las Vegas. Okay? I would suggest you don't know how any of them work. You could say you do, but you don't. And also, equating movies and mobs TV shows with the spirit of what we're arguing right now, it's fiction. It's just a fiction. They're fictional movies and shows. Everybody knows that if you're targeted by the mob and you suddenly can't be found, it's because you were murdered, not disappeared. Disappearing is a supernatural phenomenon that's not possible in the world, but at least magicians put on an air and they blow people's minds, and for all intents and purposes, they can make a person disappear. There's no illusions to what the mob does. They kill people. It's not disappearing them. And I bet you, if you talk to some real hardcore gangsters and you suggested that you loved and were impressed by what good they are at disappearing people, they'd smack you across the face and say, nobody's disappearing anybody. Okay? And I just want to finish with, you haven't used the one concrete piece of evidence for the mob actually making people disappear. I'm not going to say it now because I'm not going to give you ammo, but the only person that's known around the world as having been made to not be able to be found is a pretty obvious name you haven't mentioned.
10 seconds.
And that person wasn't disappeared. He's murdered and buried under
Yes.
MetLife Stadium.
All right. See, I knew that, but I wasn't even. I didn't. All right, Rachel. Huh? I would have gotten the gavel hit on me there if we were in a courtroom. Go ahead.
All right. That's time. Would you guys like to do final statements? Or
Yeah,
should
I believe so.
Okay. Go ahead.
My final statements would. I know who you're referring to, and we know where he is. I believe it's under the Giants Stadium or maybe the Chicago Stadium. People have said, but here's my final statement: disappearing is going to be a logistical nightmare to fight of what the actual definition is, because it's going to be different to everybody. When I have a pair of socks that I can't find the other one, did it disappear? Maybe. Did I drop it down the thing? It doesn't matter. But in my mind, that fucking sock disappeared. All right? Also, I do know how a lot of those things happened. There was a show, very famous, The Masked Magician, who was banned from magic. He was on quite a bit, and I watched a lot of those episodes. Do I know how all of them happened? Obviously not. But I know a roundabout where the person might be, depending on the show that we're watching. And then also, you keep fighting me back on the mob. Well, there's, is that enough? Is that too long? Sorry. Okay.
Final statement
Final
should
statement.
be
You're right.
a
You're right. Hit the
simple
bell.
statement.
I retract the last sentence. Didn't make any. But yes,
I helped you by stopping the timer.
I had something. But
All right, so my final statement is this. Again, you still didn't name the guy we're talking about, which means you don't even know your
Jimmy
own.
Hoffa.
Okay. I don't know it took so long. But yeah, like you said, he's not disappeared. He's probably under Giant Stadium. And again, the mafia kills people. Magicians actually do make people disappear, illusion or not. But murder is murder. Hiding a body is hiding a body, not making someone disappear.
Okay, we will tally the scores now.
We always end with a handshake or a goofy handshake because this is a gentleman's game.
And the scores are in.
Drum roll, please.
Steven with 18 out of 20. And Gene with 17 out of 20.
Motherfucker! What could I possibly have lost on?
Making Steven today's winner.
That's because he overstepped. He overstepped. He did the power move.
I will say that Gene had the lead until the fumble towards the end.
He did a power move on
away
me.
from the delivery points.
That's how it works in sports, man. If you break a rule, you get a deduction.
It wasn't a breaking of the rule. I will fight that till the end. It's last statement. Statement does not to clarify how long, how short.
No, we already.
I will say that we did not have a predetermined time for the last statements, which we will put into place beginning next week.
So I'm taking a loss because this league doesn't know how to run it.
But those last statements were
not great.
Going on, and
it was a close one, man. Slap hands. You fumbled at the end a little bit.
You didn't let. You purposely stepped in.
Before I did that, I was helping you.
No,
if you would have kept going, it was just and. Oh,
I'm sorry. That's how you add to sentences.
Okay, but let's say
well,
this.
it wasn't a good delivery.
I want the fans out there to know if they wanted to hear what I had to say there.
You don't want that. What did you want to say?
I wanted to say that the mob and FBI are connected. They have informants. And then also on movies.
But see, that's
people.
You're way off on a tangent there.
Because you cut me off.
I honestly thought I was.
There's something.
I
you know
was
what?
getting ready to cut you off because it was long.
Box.
Listen, now that people know that this show is not like some corn show where it's always going to be even, and we're just going to take turns winning.
Yeah, we are currently at 3-1.
It's okay. I'm a late season player anyway.
Good.
I agree. I agree with the scoring just because I did think you were winning until the final statement.
I want to fight that we did not know what final statement was.
Well, and it
there
wasn't.
Hasn't been there has been a definition.
It wasn't content so much. It was points taken on delivery.
Okay, so now I have no confidence. Thanks, my wife.
You were winning.
A mission statement for a company can be a couple paragraphs long. I'll just say that.
This is not a mission statement. This
it's
is
a
closing statements.
Statement, once again, up for definition.
That's a good question though, because you could argue both sides pretty easily. Like last week.
Last week my brain turned off.
No, but I'm saying you also because I picked first. Like quicksand is a hard argument, especially if you don't have Indiana Jones and Pitfall video games.
Yeah,
I've never even seen.
Never
quicksand.
been around it.
But this was at least one where there was a valid kind of argument for both sides.
You know, I will say, I'm kind of surprised going afterwards that as someone who loves, I'll say I still love it. I'm married, so I don't have to try to be cool anymore. I'm surprised I didn't go with magicians because I probably could have argued that a little bit better.
You've just been watching The Sopranos a lot lately.
I have.
So you're feeling the mob.
I have.
That was as I'm saying with that question though, I wasn't sure which one you were gonna pick.
That's why that was a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good one. The last week, I'll take the loss, but that was hard. I don't like the wording, but regardless, I lost. I'll take it. I did. I went a little long, so the presentation wasn't great. I got to learn how to close.
This is a skill building exercise.
Yeah, it's the same with bowling, golf, and now this show. I can do good, and then right at the end, I just fucking
too many words. Well, we should say from now on, your final statement has to be 4 sentences or less or something.
That's it. We'll determine the
make a
time
definition.
period next week, and have a clear
Because then your
rule.
delivery would have been better if it was
yeah. If I just didn't write that last line, I think I would have taken the win. What happens on a tie?
It's a tie.
It's a tie. It's a draw or something. There's probably a word for it.
First of all, this is America. We will not be doing draws around here.
Well,
Okay,
then make
draws
sure
are
you're
for-
better than
Yeah, how would we settle a tie?
you guys can fight.
Well, that's not fair. There's not enough room down here for me to kind of
I
fucking...
might win. Stop trying to draw sometimes. Nah, but I lost the crackle through my pen. I don't know where that pen is, by the way. We're going to have to find that. But thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been Sibling Rivalry. Boom. Did it. Perfect that time.
Good job.
Spilt my drink everywhere. Thanks, guys.